What is going on, guys? Robert from Roberts here with a new video for you guys. And if you think that I was going to be talking about the new trailer announced for Monster Hunter World, you'd be mistaken. I'm here to talk about Monster Hunter Double Cross. And before I get this video started, just to answer these questions up front so no one's confused. Yes, this game is only available in Japanese. There's no English patch that I know of. And two, the game is only available on Nintendo consoles. If you get it on the 3DS, it is region locked. So you'd have to get a Japanese 3DS in order to play it. Or if you have a Nintendo Switch, it's region free. So you could just make a Japanese Nintendo account and then download it directly from the Nintendo store. And with that said, guys, I just got to say that I am really excited for Monster Hunter Double X. This has been a long time coming. So I am really excited about this. And undoubtedly, some of you will probably be thinking, big deal, Monster Hunter World's coming out. Haven't you seen that new trailer that just dropped today? And to those guys, I'm gonna tell them the truth, that Monster Hunter Double Cross is the new pinnacle for the franchise. And if you don't like it, well, you just gotta deal with it. It is what it is on that. And after you watch this video, you'll better understand why I say that. So guys, I read comics, and Stan Lee has a saying where every comic book is somebody's first. And this is something that can easily be applied to video games as well. While we do have our favorite franchises, we all start off not knowing anything about that franchise. And we look to other people who are fans of the franchise to kind of see where we should start if we want to get into it. I recently did this with Dark Souls, and people do this like every day. And normally what people do is they recommend whatever the newest game is to people that are looking to get into a franchise. And while it works sometimes, it doesn't always work. And I'll give you a few examples here. So pretty much, if I said I wanted to get into Street Fighter, someone would probably recommend the new Street Fighter 5 to me. And if you don't know about Street Fighter 5, you can look up its various issues that it has. And let's say I told someone I wanted to get into the Mass Effect, let's say I told someone I wanted to get into the Mass Effect series. And if we go by that, they're going to recommend Mass Effect Andromeda to me. And I know that a lot of the older Mass Effect fans do not care for Andromeda at all there. And finally, if I said I wanted to get into Devil May Cry, people will probably recommend the new DMC Devil May Cry if they were to follow that rule. And, you know, in the past, you used to go to game reviewers for help, but now they're not so useful. As you see here from IGN, they're complaining about Pokemon having, and I quote, too much water. Yes, that is a legit criticism to give a Pokemon game. It's kind of weird, but, I mean, when you take into account that they just kind of blow through games to get through them as quick as possible, and they don't really have a passion for whatever game they're playing, not really that great to go to them. And this is where word of mouth come in. Pretty much you go to fans of that franchise to ask them questions, and they will let you know what's up. So like, I played Street Fighter for a bit, and if someone told me they wanted to get into Street Fighter, I'm going to tell them to go play Street Fighter Third Strike, because that's my personal favorite game, and I think it's an accurate representation of the technical fighting that you have to do in Street Fighter, and it looks gorgeous despite being 2D. If someone told me that they wanted to get into Devil May Cry, I'd recommend they go play Devil May Cry 3, in which case it pretty much has all the best stuff about the franchise. Pretty good story, excellent combat system, the introduction of the style system, which is awesome, and it's challenging. Perfect Devil May Cry game to pick up if you haven't played it before. And if someone told me that they wanted to get into Monster Hunter, I'm going to recommend that they play Monster Hunter Double Cross. And I know this is blasphemy against the sacred cow known as Monster Hunter World, that another Monster Hunter game will be better than it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you some stuff about the game, and if you think it sounds interesting, I suggest you pick it up. And if you don't think it sounds interesting, then don't pick it up. You know, doesn't matter. Capcom's not paying me, Nintendo's not paying me, nor Sony is paying me. This is just one fan talking to another potential fan here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into pretty much my 5 selling points for this game. So what does Monster Hunter Double Cross have to offer? So, selling point number 1 about why you should consider purchasing Monster Hunter Double Cross It is a celebration of the 10-year history of Monster Hunter. And most of the game's monsters throughout the years are available in this single game. And I'll show you. Now, picture this: Velocidrome, Lodrome, and Gendrome. And I'm going to be counting monsters. So I'm not going to be counting Gendrome and Lodrome because those are arguably subspecies of Velocidrome. So when I'm doing my monster counts, I'm just, that's what I'll be doing. Just putting it out there early. So in Generation 1 of Monster Hunter, when it was on the PlayStation 2 and PSP, you had 29 large monsters available, as pictured here. Now, if you were to take out the subspecies, which are like the recolor variants or whatever, you'll see that there are 15 unique large monsters left available. Right? Monster Hunter Double Cross has 14 of those 15 large monsters. The only one that's missing is poor Monoblos, which just cannot catch a break and being released in the later games. Now, if we do the same that we did in Gen 1 to Gen 2, you'll see that it introduced 27 large monsters that are available. And of those, if you take out the subspecies, there are 19 unique large monsters. And of that 19, Monster Hunter Double Cross has 14 of those. The ones that they're missing are King Shakalaka, the Queen Vespoid, the Hypnocatrice, Shin Goron, a favorite of mine, and Yama Tsusakami, which is really just an elusive Elder Dragon. It's not in too many games. If we go to Gen 3, we see that there are 42 large monsters available. And without subspecies, there are 23 large monsters available. Monster Hunter Double Cross has 16 of those 23. And the monsters that they're missing from the third generation are Giganox, Gobel, Great Jaggy, Korapeko, Cetus, Jin Mormoron, and Dire Morales. And then finally, when we get to Generation 4, there are 26 large monsters available specifically for Monster Hunter 4 and 4U. I'm not counting X or Generations with this one, for obvious reasons. And without subspecies, there are 13 unique monsters available for Generation 4. Monster Hunter Double Cross has 11 of those 13 large monsters. The only three that is missing is the Dalamodor, Dairen Moron, and Gogmazios. Now, from the original Monster Hunter on the PlayStation 2 to Monster Hunter 4U for the 3DS, there is a ton of monsters as pictured here. And previously, if you want to actually hunt these monsters, you might have to go on multiple consoles and get multiple games. And some games you would have to actually import because they never came out outside of Japan. And my main reason for why you should get Double X is that there are 70 unique monsters available from the PlayStation 2 Monster Hunter to Monster Hunter 4U. And Monster Hunter Double Cross is only missing 15 of them. Yes, those pictured right here. And if you were to do the math there, that will be about, I don't know, 79% of a decade worth of monsters in the Monster Hunter franchise in a single game. Wow. My second selling point for Monster Hunter Double Cross: the diverse locations that you're able to hunt. And I know this might not seem like a big deal, but it kind of is, because Monster Hunter is a very grind heavy game, and sometimes a change of scenery is like a breath of fresh air, especially when you're trying to track down one of those rare cards or rewards from a monster. And pretty much Double Cross doubles up on the stages. So like you'll have a volcano, you'll have like a tundra, a desert, a jungle, and a swamp. And Double Cross offers 2 variations for them. And I think that's pretty good. And not only that, they added a new location as well, the Ruined Ridge. Wow. And if you think that where you hunt a monster at isn't important, well, consider the following. If you were to hunt this monster pictured, Barioth, and the Frozen Seaway, there's a lot more open spaces, so the monster will have room to run around, and it could give you some breathing room to sharpen and heal, and so on. However, if you fight that exact same monster in the Snowy Mountain stages, they're not as large as Frozen Seaway stages, so this monster is not going to have as much room to run around, and it's going to be in your face more often. So it'll be more likely that you won't have that breathing room to take potions or sharpen. So it changes the way you have to hunt. That's why having more stages to hunt in is a great thing, and why it's one of my selling points. And my third selling point for Monster Hunter Double Cross is the weapon variety that you're allowed to have with the 14 different classes. And I'm going to do like a brief overview of the classes. So pretty much you have a great sword. It's a big sword. It's strong and slow. Favorite within the franchise. You have the long sword. It's not as strong as the great sword, but it's a lot faster than it. So this is like a medium weapon. Hits fast, hits hard. You have the sword and shield. It's not that strong, but it hits very quick. Ideal for applying status elements and elemental damage. Not only that, they have also added some coatings that you could sharpen onto the sword and shield to make it even better. You have dual swords. Pretty much two swords, they attack really quickly. You have the hammer. It's slow, but if you hit the monster in the face, you'll be able to KO the monster and knock it down. You have the hunting horn. It also KOs the monster, but it's like a buffing weapon. So like you'll be able to buff yourself and teammates using a hunting horn by using the various melodies. You have the lance, which is a shield and a lance, man. You just kind of, you poke. You block and poke. You have the gun lance. Block and poke, but you'll have the bonus of having wavering fire. Like you can fire shells off. You can't shoot it like a gun, but if you're up close, it does like an explosion at the tip of the lance. You have the switch axe, which changes between an axe and a giant sword. Very versatile weapon, good range on it. You have the insect glaive, which has that insect that you can send out to hit monsters, and it's a pretty quick weapon as well. I haven't used it that much, but I mean, if you're interested in it, by all means, go ahead for it. And the charge blade. This versatile weapon is like having an axe and a sword and shield together. And it has the ability to KO monsters. So this is one of the few weapons to where you'll be able to deal cutting damage and impact damage. So you can cut tails and KO monsters as well. That's probably why it's a favorite. You have the light bow gun, which is a lighter bow gun. So you can run around with it. You're more mobile. And it's ideal for applying statuses and elemental damage due to its rapid fire capability. You have heavy bow guns, which are heavy bow guns, in that you're not going to be as mobile as with the light bow gun, but you'll probably deal more damage because their attack is higher. And finally, you have the bow, which has coatings that you can put onto your arrows to apply various status effects to monsters, and you can buff your bows or whatever. And it's pretty versatile. You have a lot of mobility with it. It's an excellent weapon. And there are your 14 weapon types. You have 11 melee weapons. You have 3 ranged weapons. Oh, and I forgot Prowler. You play as a cat. Whenever you make armor or weapons, you get like scraps, and then you can make your cat's armor and weapons. So that's technically 15 weapons. And to those of you wondering, why would you play as a cat? Because they have some really cool costumes. Such as, pictured here, the Dark Magician. Yes, you can dress your cat as the Dark Magician, Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Dante from Devil May Cry, etc. And you can play as them, which is awesome. Selling point number 4. Monster Hunter Double Cross has introduced 2 new hunting styles. And they have the Brave style, to where you have some more evasive maneuvers with sheathing your weapon, but you build up a bar that's by your sharpness gauge, and it allows you to be more aggressive on monsters. So pretty much you get rewarded for attacking. And you have the alchemy style, where you get this barrel and you can shake it to get buffs and stuff. I haven't used the alchemy style that much yet. So total, you'll have 6 different hunter styles. You have the guild style, which is like the default style that is just basic. You have adept, where if you just wait till the last minute before getting hit, before dodging, you'll do like this graceful dodge, and then you get like a special attack after doing that. You have the striker style that allows you to do more hunter arts. I'll cover those later. And you have aerial, which is a way for you to hit the monster so you can mount it and get on top of it, which was exclusive to the Anti-Glaive and Monster Hunter 4U, but now all weapons can do it. So pretty much the weapon types that I showed you earlier, like the Great Sword, the longsword, the sword and shield, and so on. With all these classes now, you get to pick what hunter style that you want. So you get to add a little bit more personalization to how you hunt with whatever weapon you so choose. And I think that's a good thing. Having options in a game where you're grinding is always a good thing. And these are not paid options. They're already in the game for free. Even better. And on top of that, you have the various hunter arts that are available. They're like super attacks. Each weapon has 3 specific hunter arts with 3 levels of it. Level 1 being the weakest, level 3 being the strongest. And you unlock those by doing quests. But now with Monster Hunter Double Cross, each weapon has 4 weapon-specific hunter arts. So that's excellent. And now we are on to the final selling point, and really the most important selling point. The amount of monsters you have to hunt in this game. Now, there are 36 small monsters, which don't seem like they're that important, but these are the obstacles that are in the field while you're hunting, and it might hinder your progress while hunting, especially Gendrome. You'll be fighting a monster, it'll jump out of nowhere, paralyze you. It could get you to die because of that little minion monster, so don't sleep on those guys. But Monster Hunter Double Cross has a staggering 93 large monsters available to hunt. That is almost 100 monsters. That is crazy. That is really crazy. And undoubtedly, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you might be like, oh, well, you've covered this already. But I'm going to put this in perspective like I was going to do in my other videos, but decided not to because they were long enough as it was. You've heard of Shotos, right? They are in fighting games and pretty much are like palette swaps in order to boost fighting games rosters. So as you see here, you have Ryu, and then you just change the color of his clothes to red, put some blonde hair, you have a new character. And Street Fighter isn't the only game to do it. Mortal Kombat did it as well, like with the ninjas that they have. They had Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile, and they were just palette swaps. And even Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and pretty much all the later Dragon Ball games, where they were boasting how many characters they had available for you to play as. However, they didn't tell you that they counted transformation as characters. So let's say you are playing, you'll have like a normal Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and they wouldn't just have one Goku. They have like Goku early in the series, Goku in the middle of the series, Goku in the end of the series. So you can see how that would inflate their numbers. You have 150 characters, but literally like 20 or 30 of them are Goku. So they're advertising at 150, but it's not really 150 unique fighters. And Monster Hunter is guilty of doing this as well with the subspecies that they have. And that's why I discounted them. That's why I didn't count them earlier in the video when I was talking about all the monsters you could hunt. So pretty much you'll have like a Raytheon, and then you'll have a pink version of Raytheon, and then you have a gold version of Raytheon. And there'll be minor differences between them. They'll have like a slightly different moveset, but nothing like staggering. It's really just a way to have more monsters to hunt and add more weapons and armors to the game. And just as earlier, I'm not going to be adding Lodrome and Gendrome to the count because Velocidrome is the original and I consider those subspecies. Well, at least for this anyway. If you look at the original Monster Hunter game, they had 17 monsters available. You take out the subspecies, 15 available. With Monster Hunter Freedom, which was the port of the original Monster Hunter to the PSP and added new stuff, you had 31 monsters available. You take out the subspecies, you go down to 15 monsters. Monster Hunter Freedom 2, which was the port of Monster Hunter 2, which was Japan exclusive on the PlayStation 2. You had 48 monsters available. You take out the subspecies, you got 28. Then we get to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, where you have 58 monsters available. Take out the subspecies, you have 35 monsters available. Monster Hunter Tri, pretty much like a reboot or a soft reboot of the series, starting in a new region. You had 18 monsters available. You take out the subspecies, you have 17 monsters available. Monster Hunter 3U, you have 51 monsters available. Take out the subspecies, you have 27 monsters available. Monster Hunter 4U, you had 75 monsters available. Take out the subspecies, you have 41 monsters available. Monster Hunter X or Monster Hunter Generations and outside of Japan, you have 73 monsters available. Take out the subspecies, you have 53 monsters available. And finally, we get to Monster Hunter Double Cross. You have 93 monsters available. Take out all the subspecies, you're looking at about 65 monsters. And here's a chart to show the total monsters that are available in the games in chronological order from the original Monster Hunter down to Monster Hunter Double X. And then you see how many monsters the game actually has when you take out the subspecies. And the final column shows you what percentage of the game is subspecies. And if you were to put them in order from the lowest percentage of subspecies, you see Monster Hunter Tri in first place having 96% of unique monsters. You have the original Monster Hunter in second place with 88% of unique monsters. And you'll have Monster Hunter X or Monster Hunter Generations outside of Japan having 73% of unique monsters. And if you've actually played these games, you would know that they do not have G rank available. They only go to high rank. In Monster Hunter, you have low rank, high rank, and G rank. All these games only go up to high rank. And here is a chart that shows you what I was talking about with the top 3 up there and how the other games stack up. Chances are, if you do any research into the Monster Hunter franchise, and they're talking about what the best Monster Hunter game is, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite will come up. And this is because when you compare Monster Hunter Freedom Unite to its predecessors, it had the most monsters available and it had the largest percentage of non-subspecies monsters as well. And if you compare Monster Hunter Freedom Unite to its successors, you'll see that it has the second most amount of monsters available, second only to Monster Hunter 4U, and the second largest percentage of non-subspecies monsters, second to Monster Hunter Tri, that had pretty much all new monsters. Now, a couple years back when Monster Hunter 4U first came out over here in the West, there are people comparing it to Monster Hunter Unite and saying that it was better than Unite, and Unite had finally been dethroned as the best Monster Hunter game. And to be honest, I was not one of those people. I did not agree with that statement. And besides some cutting off key features in the offline mode so they can get you to play the story, when you look at Monster Hunter Unite, at that time, there were 34 unique monsters available from the original Monster Hunter on PlayStation 2 up to Monster Hunter 2 on the PlayStation 2 or Monster Hunter Freedom 2 when they made the portable version of it. And you want to know how many monsters Monster Hunter Unite is missing from that? 0. Monster Hunter Unite had every monster available in the Monster Hunter franchise, which was a big deal because some of the monsters in the previous games were online exclusive and the servers were shut down, so you wouldn't be able to play them if you bought them now. But Unite has them available if you just go by Unite. So Monster Hunter Unite is similar to paying full price for a pizza and getting 100% of the pizza. To the fact that if you bought any of the games that came before Unite, it was redundant because Unite literally had everything. However, if you were to try to do the same with Monster Hunter 4U, it'd be similar to paying full price for a pizza and getting less than half of it. Because if you look at the 57 unique monsters available from the original Monster Hunter on the PlayStation 2, up to Monster Hunter 3U that came out on the 3DS and Wii U, Monster Hunter 4U was missing 25 of them, as pictured here below. And in order to complete your other 56% of the monsters available, you'd have to go pick up Monster Hunter Unite and Monster Hunter 3U. So those of you who've only played 4U, I suggest you go pick up 3U because it's going to be a different experience from 4U. Yeah, you won't have mounting and the Insect Glaive or Charge Blade, but there are some monsters that you've not been able to hunt yet. So it still should be a fun experience for you. So when people are saying Unite is the best Monster Hunter game, it's not just nostalgia. And when you compare these two, Monster Hunter Unite and Monster Hunter 4U, objectively speaking, 4U has 6 more unique monsters, but also at the cost of having a larger percentage of subspecies. This is why I personally do not consider Monster Hunter 4U as good as Monster Hunter Unite. And you know, 4U was a lot of people's first game, so of course that's right in the fields for them, but hey, it is what it is on that. You know, and if I'm being 100% honest, Monster Hunter Unite stands up even to this day. And it's also available on the iOS. So if you have like an iPhone or iPad Touch or whatever, you will be able to play Monster Hunter Unite, and they'll actually have online support, which the PSP port didn't have. I'm currently replaying the PSP game for the 3rd time, and I'm still having a blast with it, despite all the new stuff that is available in the later games. And the reason for this is that Unite was really it's just legit. It's that good. It's like I think it's the best-selling PSP game in Japan. So needless to say, Unite set the bar for what I believe the Monster Hunter game should have. So I always compared the other games to Unite, and I was searching to recreate that feeling I had when I was playing Monster Hunter Unite. And when I play Monster Hunter Generations, or when I play Monster Hunter X or Monster Hunter Generations outside of Japan, I started to feel it a little bit. Like that feeling that Unite gave me. And before, I wasn't really able to explain it. However, I am able to explain it now. When you compare Monster Hunter Unite to Monster Hunter X or Monster Hunter Generations, Monster Hunter X/Generations exceeds the bar set by Unite because they have more monsters that aren't subspecies, and they have a larger percentage of unique monsters. And the only reason I didn't consider this game better than Unite was the lack of a G rank. That was the only thing holding this game back. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a truth bomb here. When they first announced Monster Hunter XX, I wasn't impressed. They announced it like last year. I seen the trailer for it. They introduced the new styles, and I was like, yeah, I guess. They showed the Diablos, and I was like, well, I want to fight that, so I guess I'll get it. And when I actually started to play it, because I had to restart, because I had Generations, and your file transfer won't happen because it's a Japanese game, I was playing through it, and I was like, wow, this game is really good, man. This might actually be better than Unite. And when you look at it from an objective standpoint, it's like clear as day. There's no contest. Monster Hunter XX has almost twice the amount of unique monsters as Unite, and a larger percentage of non-subspecies monsters. And it also goes up to G rank. So that is, Unite has been dethroned. This XX is the second coming of Unite. It is the new Unite. It's the new bar by which Monster Hunter games should be held to. Now, some of you might be thinking that I have an axe to grind against subspecies, but I actually enjoy subspecies. Stygians and Ogres is probably my favorite subspecies. And, you know, I paid a lot of money to get that Capcom creator model of it. A lot of money. And, you know, to be honest, Monster Hunter Double Cross is actually going away from subspecies and moving more towards deviants. And just to clarify, subspecies are just a recolor. You know, they might change the hit zones on the monster. So, like with Raytheon, the head might not be the weak spot. It might be the spot where your sword bounces off. And it might do some tweaks to the moves. But more or less, you fight a Raytheon, you fought a pink Raytheon, and you fought a gold Raytheon. However, with deviants, whole different beast altogether, to be honest. And if you don't believe me, just go trying to fight the Stonefist. The Hermitaur is an easy fight. But if you go fight the Stonefist, you're going to find yourself using a lot more potions than what you think you should have been using. And Monster Hunter Double Cross has introduced 6 new deviant monsters. They have their new deviants for the other 3 Fated 4, and they added, most importantly, the new Massacre Demon Diablos, which was my primary reason for buying Double Cross in the first place. So in total, if you were to get Monster Hunter Double Cross, you'd have 18 deviant monsters to battle, and they are tough fights, and it's pretty much like running a gauntlet. The cool thing about deviant monsters is that once you complete the quest, they give you tickets that allow you to make deviant weapons and armors. And the cool thing about these is that you can upgrade them to make them more powerful by hunting the deviant monster again under different conditions. They might have you hunt 1, they might have you hunt 2, they might have you capture 1, they might have another monster show up. But you do that pretty much from 1 to 10 in Generations, and I think in Double Cross they go up to 15. And once you go up to a certain level, you'll activate a compound skill unique to that armor, So like I had fought the Deviant Uragon in Monster Hunter Generations, and once I got up to a certain level, I forgot the level, but it activated Crystal Beard Soul, which gave me the skill Charm Chaser and Negate Hunger together. So pretty much one skill activates two skills. No losing there in that. And Monster Hunter Double Cross has 18 Deviant monsters, each with their own unique compound skills, so that's great, right? Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up with my final thoughts on everything. And if you've watched this video in its entirety, you should see why I would recommend Monster Hunter Double Cross to newbies instead of telling them to wait for Monster Hunter World that comes out next year. And it has nothing to do with the whole Sony versus Nintendo thing, because I think that's stupid. They're both pieces of plastic. But it has everything to do with my favorite video game franchise. And I am thrilled that there are new hunters joining the fray and starting to play Monster Hunter. It's great, it's excellent, and I love it. And I want those guys to have the best game possible. And with that, honestly, Double Cross is probably going to be that game, because it has pretty much everything the Monster Hunter franchise has to offer from Gen 1 to Gen 4. And out of the 70 unique monsters available from Gen 1 to Gen 4, Monster Hunter Double Cross has 55 of them, as well as some of their own. So that's literally like 79% of 10 years worth of Monster Hunter monsters in a single game. And if you want to experience those monsters, you'd have to buy the games shown above. Except this time, you have 14 different weapons available to you. You have 6 Hunter style and Hunter arts to personalize how you play with the weapon you choose. And you have 65 unique monsters to hunt. And 93 if you count the deviants and the subspecies. Which are... that's a lot of monsters to hunt, man. 93 monsters? Like I said, that's damn near 100 monsters. That's crazy. And if you're privy to Monster Hunter's history, then this whole situation with Double Cross and World might be looking familiar to what happened with Unite and Tri, in that Unite had everything. So they literally had to start over to start building again. Well, right now, Double Cross pretty much has everything. And Monster Hunter World is that first step in starting over and building up again. And just as Monster Hunter Unite did to its predecessors, to where it pretty much outclassed them and almost made it redundant to even go back and play the older games, that is pretty much what Monster Hunter Double Cross is doing right now. And that's saying something. That's a pretty big achievement there. And I think legit, the only way you can get a better Monster Hunter game than Monster Hunter Double Cross is if you go to Monster Hunter Frontier, which is a PC game where they have seasons of monsters and they have like... they have so many monsters. It's a crap ton of them. And some of you might be asking, what about Monster Hunter World? Well, what about it? I mean, yeah, the trailer came out today and it looked nice. And I'm happy that Capcom didn't axe all the old monsters like they did in Monster Hunter Tri. So that's a step in the right direction to me. So I think that it won't be an exact replica of what happened with Tri, and they actually learned from their mistake. However, if you put the hype aside, and we're being completely honest here, I just don't think that Monster Hunter World objectively will offer more than what Monster Hunter Double Cross is offering. And if you're new to the Monster Hunter franchise, getting Monster Hunter Double X is going to give you pretty much 80% of what Monster Hunter has to offer in a single game. And if you don't want to deal with the Japanese language barrier, then there's always Monster Hunter Generations, which is the version that came before Double Cross, and it still has a staggering amount of content, and it's in English. I'm hoping they port over Monster Hunter Double Cross, but to be honest, I don't think they will, because as you've seen here, it gives a lot. And if they ported it over Double Cross to America, then that would impact World sales, and they're putting a lot of money and resources into World, and they want it to do as good as possible, and they don't want Double Cross to prevent it from achieving whatever sales goal they have from it. But that's pretty much the video. Undoubtedly, some people are going to be salty about the facts that I rained down on their foreheads, but it is what it is on that. So that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you guys have a nice day. Enjoy your Friday. next Friday Double Cross comes out, I will be there. And if you're thinking about getting it, let me know in the comments below. We'll sync up. I'll add you on the Switch and we can play together. Alright guys, see ya!